Hello and welcome back to Matt Tissier'S newsletters. This is newsletter number 9. 9 weeks of this. Let's see where he takes us today. Hi all, hope you've all had a good week. Bank holiday Monday started with a 10 AM haircut. My mate's place wasn't open, but he was doing some work in the salon anyway, so said he could fit me in. The benefits of being nice to people and perhaps being mildly famous. Sorry, my voice is going again. Spent the rest of the day with my family and sneaking a watch of Eastleigh beating Aldershot on TV. Then, with an upcoming golf trip in mind, I spent a couple of hours in the evening at Polton's Golf Centre trying to sharpen up my chipping and putting. Now, I'll tell you what I think has happened here. Remember last week he told us that he had a terrible golf game when he went to the Trump place. He shot 9 over par, and I think he wants his sharpness back, because he's never, in 9 weeks of this, 8 weeks, he's never gone for lessons, or he's gone to sharpen up at a golf centre, right? I assume that's what's happening. The rest of the week was spent away from home on a mega road trip. I left for Manchester on Tuesday lunchtime to attend the 50th edition of the PFA Awards presentation. All previous winners of the awards were invited along. Excuse me. But there didn't appear to be too many of them there on the night. I didn't think the change of format worked either. I much preferred the sit-down dinner version as opposed to the theatre setting, but it was good to catch up with some old colleagues from Southampton and Sky, including Ken Monku, Ian Dowie, Tony Cotty, Paul Allen, Peter Shilton and Paul Walsh. The awards finished around 9:30 PM and there was an after party that we were invited to, but I had an early start the next day, so I decided to head back to my hotel via a stop at a local kebab shop for a cheeseburger and chips. A man's gotta eat. A man's gotta eat. I mean, that's fine, right? But I don't know, man. I think if I was like as rich as him, I just don't think I'd go kebab shops anymore. Wednesday morning arrived and I had another 4-hour drive ahead of me as I headed to my favourite place to play golf in the UK. Oh, he was drunk, wasn't he? Of course, that's... Anyway. Wednesday morning arrived and I had another 4-hour drive ahead of me as I headed to my favourite place to play golf in the UK. The majestic Loch Lomond Golf Club, 35 minutes northwest of Glasgow. My friend Gugesh had invited me to play as his partner in the member guest competition on Thursday and Friday, and we had a practice round after I'd happily spent 2 hours in the driving range putting green and chipping area. A round of 8 over par ensued. Oh, that's not good, is it? By the way, that was one sentence. That's why I ran out of breath. That's just one big sentence there. A round of 8 over par, and that's after he did the little practice, man. That's not good, is it? The competition format, the competition format was 8 groups of 6 teams, with each team playing a 9-hole match against the 5 other teams in their group, 3 on Thursday, 2 on Friday, with the winners of each group progressing towards a playoff to determine the winners. With a 7:30 AM start each day, there was to be no late nights. We started well with a win in our first match playing the back 9. The second match on the front 9, however, resulted in a loss, but we bounced back after lunch with a convincing win in our third match to keep our hopes alive. I mean, I didn't follow any of that, but I'm sure there's people that, you know. It's just funny how much he enjoys talking about golf and how much detail he goes into. We go into Friday knowing a couple of wins could well see us through to the playoff. However, we started slowly in our first match playing the back 9 again and found ourselves 2 down with only 4 holes left. We managed to rally and won the next 3 holes in a row and held on up the last for a slim victory. So it's down to the final match in which we play the group leaders who are unbeaten. Oh my gosh. We would have needed to win by 3 clear holes to progress, but sadly we were once again disappointing on the front 9 and were outplayed by the deserved group winners. Oh my god, is that the end of that bit? Is that the end of that golf tournament? So it was time to hit the road again, as I'd got my ticket sorted to go and watch Southampton play on Saturday lunchtime at Sunderland. I know, I wish I hadn't now, and arrived at my hotel at 7 p.m. I'd arranged to meet my mate and former Southampton Sunderland player Ruben Agbula for a curry in Sunderland later that evening, but his flight up from Southampton was delayed, so I had to change plans. Instead, I took a walk out of my hotel, looking for somewhere to be able to get a bite to eat. As I was strolling past the bar, a couple of lads who were inside recognised me and beckoned me in. They were a really friendly bunch that included the owner of the bar, who insisted on buying me a Malibu and Coke or 3. When I told them I was just looking for a place to eat, they grabbed me a menu from the Italian restaurant next door, and before I knew it, my lasagna had arrived. And they wouldn't even let me pay for it. 2 hours later, I left the bar after a lengthy... A typo there, mate. There's an E missing. After a lengthy football chat, and headed next door to the casino, where I fancied having a game of poker for a couple of hours before retiring for the evening. That was as successful as the front 9 matches at Loch Lomond, so not good. Oh, they lost 5-0, right. What a night. What a night. Just like, he's walking around, he can't meet his friend, Agbula, and it's like, free lasagna! I just think it's like, I just think it's fascinating how much detail it goes into that. I mean, I feel like, I don't know. Anyway, sorry. There's a big old paragraph now. Saturday arrived with a 12:30 p.m. A 12:30 kickoff, and the stadium a mere 15-minute walk away. I had a nice leisurely breakfast followed by a quick visit to Halfords to get some engine coolant for my car. I just don't know where it's going to go. Sorry. Sorry. Engine coolant for my car, which had decided we were running low on the way back to Sunderland. I also had an after-dinner speech to attend that evening just east of Manchester, so would probably have to leave the match a bit early. Little did I know what a relief that would be. So 3-0 down at half-time, I was in the concourse of the ground having a few selfies done and chatting to the fans when a chap stood in front of me and asked me to sign his shirt. He didn't have a pen in hand, so without really concentrating on the gent in question, I said, "Sorry, mate, I haven't got a pen." Oh no. Oh right, it was only then that I looked up and then realised it was my old teammate from the early days at Southampton, Jerry Forrest. Sorry, my voice broke. Jerry Forrest. It was great to catch up with Jed, and as were chatting away, the roar from inside the ground told us the fourth goal had gone in. That was my cue to take an early walk back to the hotel and start the next leg of my mammoth road trip. Okay, I took the opportunity, as I had a bit of time in hand, to stop off on the way to my job in Harrogate. In Harrogate? I'm sorry, I'm stupid. I'm sorry for saying it wrong. I've never been there. To spend 45 minutes with my niece's husband and their 3 little girls, which includes twins that I'm godfather to. They seemed pretty pleased to have a surprise visit from Uncle Matt, and it took my mind off of what I'd just witnessed at the stadium at light. I eventually arrived at Culcheth east of Manchester at 6:30 p.m. I've never heard of that place. 6:30 p.m. for Datton's FC's 75th anniversary dinner, which I was the guest speaker. After a meet and greet with a few sponsors, dinner got underway. Sorry, again, he's not... I think this is the newsletter he stopped proofreading, because there's a lot of little grammatical errors and loads of commas missing and stuff. After the meet and greet, a few sponsors, okay. After the dinner speech was... Sorry, where are we? I was a guest speaker. After a meet and greet with a few sponsors, dinner got underway at 7:45, and I did my after-dinner speech, which was very well received, with much laughter in all the right places, which is always a relief. And the last leg of my journey home started at 10:30 p.m, ending at 2:10 a.m, with a short stop on the way home for a cat nap to make sure I didn't fall asleep at the wheel. Very sensible. And the 7th day I rested. A long lie-in and then a lovely lunch out at the White Horse pub in Ampfield with my family who I'd missed over the last few days, followed by many hours of watching live sport and writing this newsletter. Many hours. Have a great week, everyone. Matt. That's fantastic. I wonder over the duration of this, if Matt does keep this going forever, right? Is he going to start popping in some callbacks, you know? You know, maybe mention a thing about the car first. That would have made the Halford story, given it a bit of something. No, you're right, Willie. In this newsletter, listen, everyone, even fans of Matt, right? He has not mentioned anything around vaccines or all of that stuff once. He's had a lovely week and he was very happy to see his family after. I think the fact is, I don't think he wants to talk about that stuff anymore, really. I don't think he does, man. It does, and I hope it just keeps going like this, because this is fantastic. He didn't even end on a do not comply. Anyway, I read these newsletters because I find them absolutely fascinating. This was brilliant, man. I really enjoyed this. Quite a long one. That was newsletter number 9, and so it'll be number 10 next week. See you next time.